Well, there's a saying that says, don't bring a knife to a gunfight, utterly meaning that you have to be thoroughly prepared for anything that life, and in this case, a medical journey, throws at you. And it doesn't matter if it is your first day of the med school or the last one. The thing is that you have to be ready, no matter what's the cost, to be a fully licensed doctor, prescribing medicine, curing diseases and saving lives. And the first part of this video that went on roughly 3 weeks ago, we talked about some of the medical basic sciences and how to pass them swiftly and easily. We talked about histology, anatomy, biochemistry, and physiology. I'm Amin Jabrali, and here I'll be trying to help you through the medical journey from a start to the finish. But there's a huge disclaimer to be said here, that the content and the things that I say are pretty much all my own experience, and in the case of USMLE, from my friends and colleagues, as I haven't taken the exams. So these are personal experiences and they may not be working well with you. So without further ado, let's start the video with pathology. We as medical students in our medical school treat pathology as histology, but for the diseased tissue, and it mostly is, frankly, it's an essential topic of study for anyone wishing to practice medicine. Depending on what you are studying pathology for, to pass the USMLE exam or to get a grasp of what are you about to face in its course, it can be a bit tricky. Pathology is one of the highest yield sections in the USMLE exam, but learning and mastering it will help you to get past through step 1, step 2 as well. It mostly is diagnosing conditions, and because of that, it mostly is memorizing and remembering stuff. Well, the best method of studying pathology efficiently is to break down the studying and focus on one condition at a time. And it's best to review other books and materials pertaining and relating to the subject you are trying to study before the pathology class. Through the class, try to focus and listen as much as you can, and try to grasp the tricks and tips that the professor is teaching, and your main labor starts after the class. Try to use the stick method. Talked it the last video. If you haven't watched it, feel free to pause this video and watch it. You'll not be disappointed. And if you are studying conditions one by one, first of all, try to firstly classify the conditions. Different conditions have different mechanisms, like for instance, infectious, vascular, traumatic, and use the vitamin C, D, mnemonic. We've got 9 mechanisms for diseases to occur. Secondly, define the condition you're studying. Well, we don't really need a definitive or a thorough definition for the disease, just a brief sentence and its characteristics can suffice. And really just know why the disease occurs and how it develops. In the first part of my words, I said that pathology is the histology of the diseased. Well, it's truly about morphology and the study of the shape of the cells and tissues. And the third and last step of studying pathology is to memorize and remember the clinical characteristics and manifestations of the given disease or the condition, and have the best differential diagnosis for the disease or the condition you are studying. Well, there are quite a few great books for pathology if you're trying to pass the step 1 USMLE, and the best of them hands down is the Pathama for Pathology, written by Dr. Satta, who has provided the world with his great book and the videos of his lectures, and try to utilize them as much as you can. Well, Well, embryology is a branch of biology concerning development of gametes, fertilization, and development of fetuses and embryos. It can be a very useful study to detect congenital abnormalities and malformations in the newborn or not even born. So try not to underestimate the course. Well, if you are medical students and you are trying to study embryology, you have to know that you are not going to be an embryologist here. So try not to be really. If you are trying to pass the USMLE Step 1, study first aid of USMLE Step 1 and tests like UWorld and other ones. I myself wasn't good at embryology and I even didn't like it. But now I see the need for knowing its essence in the PIDS wards and cases. Well, I would like to mix bacteriology, virology and helminthology as a whole as microbiology, as they're pretty much needing one study method and you can easily mix and match their courses. Well, for microbiology there's a huge demand for memorizing and remembering capabilities, and you really would need great amount of effort to remember all, or if not all, a huge bunch of high yield subjects and microorganisms, their way of pathogenesis, virulence, and so on and so forth. Our professor of microbiology had prepared us with a chart of bacteria and all of their unique characteristics, and it really worked wonders for us. So if you have this chart, you would have all the information for the given microorganism or the bacteria at a glance, like their species, gram, motility, culture, associated diseases, and etc. And this method can still be used for virology. For viruses, you can arrange another chart containing types of viruses, their nucleic acid types, whether or not they are RNA, DNA viruses, double-stranded, single-stranded, and so on. Parasitology or helminthology has a similar vibe to it. So basically you have to know the life cycle of any given helminth or parasite, its primary host, intermediate host, accidental host, and characteristic features of the high yield subjects. Hygiene and epidemiology are a couple of fundamental pillars of basic sciences besides others, and it's better to treat them as such. Well, hygiene's name speaks for itself, but epidemiology is a study of the distribution and determination of health-related subjects, states, and events. Well, it got a huge attention in the midst of this pandemic that we're in, and it's hugely impacting our perspective of every disease and condition. For studying epidemiology and biostatistics, UWorld, EMBOSS, and First Aid are more than sufficient and are great materials for studying these subjects. And after that, you can review these subjects with Randy Nail's review questions in his YouTube videos, which I'll be linking in the description below. So don't be hesitant to start studying right now, and as always, come back later for more quality videos. I'm thinking about starting a new category of videos pertaining medical emergencies and when to seek medical attention. So stay tuned for those sort of stuff as well. That's it all from me. Take care and bye. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe and ring the bell to get notified as the next videos drop. Take care.